Welcome to Jurassic Park.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Why don't we just wait here for a little while?
Do you want to know what it is?
There's no knowing where you might be swept off to.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Shepherds we shall be, for thee, my Lord, for thee.
I don't know. I'm making this up as I go.
There's a special rug in hell reserved for people who waste good scotch.
He peed on my rug.
They peed on the dude's rug.
Do your worst.
Final report. The commercial starship Nostromo.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Welcome to Your Feature Presentation, the podcast where we bring you the latest and greatest movies in pop culture. With me is the one, the only, matinee maniac, Andrew McKay.
This is my favorite thing to do, Heath. I'll never leave you.
Oh, the podcast. Your hand moved, so I thought you were going to bring something up. It's like, this Game Boy Advance.
No. What we have is special.
Now I'm thinking about, do you remember, did you have a Game Boy Advance? Was that too?
Yeah, I had one in high school.
Yeah, that's great. I like the
So
Game
it
Boy
was
Advance.
super late. It was like 10 or 12 years behind the curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Because that was ancient. I had it when it was brand new. No, I liked how that technology of handheld video games is you had to have a light. Like, you'd have to have a plug-in light to see the screen.
Yep.
Like, people don't understand. That's the most baffling thing. All right. Well, today we are getting right into it. We got a mini episode. We are going to talk about...
First of all, Heath, I'd like to talk about the difference between the ending of Jurassic Park and the ending of Jurassic Park the book.
Yes.
Do you want to know what we're going to talk about later after that?
Yeah, I'd like to know. Tell me.
Oh, great. Andor is coming out April 22nd, and there is quite a unique release schedule. So we're going to talk about the release schedule for Andor, good, bad, thoughts. We can also talk about the show as well. And then we'll move on to a couple other small things I think will be exciting.
Tasty
So
tidbits.
yeah. Oh, sure. So you've seen Jurassic Park, the movie.
Yes.
Ever heard of it?
Yes.
I think that was E.T., but we'll move on.
I just really blanked on the E.T. theme. What is it?
Me too. I don't know. It's also John Williams.
Ba, 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 na, 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 na.
Oh, you're right.
I never watched E.T. until I was older, like later in life. I really like it, but it just doesn't have that nostalgia hit for me.
It's super, it's very child focused. It's a kids movie, but it's a great kids movie. It's like the Goonies.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
So anyway, there's a difference. You've read the Jurassic Park book?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I just finished it.
Michael Crichton?
Michael Crichton.
Oh, Crichton. Yes, of course.
Jeez. So I just finished it and I thought this was great timing because we have Jurassic World Rebirth coming out in July. We're both pretty excited about that movie. We're more than casual Jurassic Park movie fans, would you say? You certainly.
Yeah.
I think I'm...
I love the Jurassic Park movies. Jurassic World, I think it started off good, kind of fell away, but I'm definitely excited for the new one because it's directed by Gareth Edwards, which we both love. So like, I think that's why it's like the mix of a good director and just like, I'll show up. I mean, I watched Godzilla vs. Kong. So like, of course I'm going to go see the new Jurassic Park.
Big monsters. It's going to be great. So I noticed a really big difference between John Hammond, the guy who starts the park, in the book as compared to the movie. Okay? And I want to walk you through a couple of those things and see which you would prefer, or if you think that it's totally fine, it's totally good, and that Jurassic Park movie did it solid and they changed the things they should have changed, right? Okay.
The fleas, Mama, can I see the flea? See the fleas, please?
The what?
The fleas. I had a flea circus, with the thing that it goes up and down and then the carousel, but I wanted to make something real, something you could touch.
You sounded like a little child. That's the fleas.
I just love how he goes on a rant of like he's eating a bucket of ice cream and his grandkids are probably getting eaten by raptors, and he's like, what is the essence of being? I feel like you're going to touch on some of that right now.
Okay, yes, this is exactly what I want to talk about. The fleas thing, but I wanted something real. I wanted something to touch. That is purely movie John Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
That's his motivation. His motivation is a dinosaur Walt Disney.
Mm-hmm.
The movie portrays him as being in it for the kids, being in it to give the families a unique and enriching experience. In the book, he's all about money. And he, like, they ask him, at one point he goes on a monologue about like pricing and how'd you get into this business? What are you even doing here? And he's like, if I had gone into medicine and discovered a life-saving cure for a disease, the government, the world government would tell me, they'd be able to tell me how much I could reasonably charge for that medicine. Then I would make less money, even though I've invested billions of dollars or whatever. Someone else would be able to tell me what I could charge. When you go into entertainment, you get to decide what your product is worth. And he said that's why the patents are important to him. That's why all the secrecy is important to him.
Wow.
Because he wants his product on lock so that he can charge $5,000 a head per day in his park. And basically, the movie is like Walt Disney, Hammond, right? The book is Hammond builds a
actual Walt Disney.
No, the book is like Hammond builds a theme park that is for the ultra wealthy exclusively. And if you can't pass the barrier of entry, that is an exorbitant amount of income, then you don't get to see dinosaurs ever. Like there's also a character who's like, oh, we're working on, is the scientist who like is developing all of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, we're working on household dinosaurs. We're going to sell them as pets so that families and little kids can have access to this like incredible thing, which is a terrible idea. Yes. But in the book, John Hammond says we're literally never doing that, because as soon as we domesticate and sell for ownership our product, we lower foot traffic here.
Yeah.
And it's all about here. And that's like first initial character difference. What do you think about movie John Hammond and book John Hammond in that regard?
Yes, that's really interesting. So I have read the book, but it's been a while, and I feel like the book is so different. It just feels different, and I think you kind of narrowed in on it. It's like Spielberg really did Spielbergify the movie.
Yeah, he's a lovable grandpa.
Yeah, he is. And I think he's always been that kind of kind-hearted guy. And they talk about how he's even gotten a little bit softer in his old age. Like they talk about in the Indiana Jones Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Lovable grandpa is John Hammond.
Oh,
is
I was talking
Steven Spielberg, a lovable grandpa?
Oh, I think so, in vibes.
Oh, great. Good.
I just feel like he's gotten less violent. And I think he was always kind of more family violence, but like Indiana Jones, Raiders versus Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, they don't even show people being shot anymore. It's like off frame.
Right.
And then like Raiders, it's full on like squibs and, everything goes up like crazy. So I think it's interesting because I never thought about that, but they really gave evil Hammond, book Hammond, they gave that part to the lawyer in the movie.
Yes.
$5,000 a day, $10,000 a day. We could charge it and people will pay it.
Mm-hmm.
Pay it. I don't know why I said it like that. People will pay it. You remember the Valley Girl lawyer? That was in the Jurassic Park movie. But yeah, I think that's a really interesting take that I think they took that out of, because Hammond in the movie is such the good guy. He was the guy. He was the genius who was too distracted by, what if he could. He'd never stop to think of what if he should.
Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm. So effectively, you've taken a character, source material being the book, and you've taken a character that is an antagonist. John Hammond in the book is a villain, and I'll explain why. But you've taken a character and you've created them into not an antagonist. So then you need an antagonist to fill that gap, that cavity you've created, which is where that lawyer comes in, picking up kind of those, like, it's all about the money, it's just black and white. And John Hammond is allowed to be whimsical in the movie. Like, the dreams, we're dreamers, like that kind of guy. But in the book, his character is legitimately an antagonist against everyone else trying to survive on the island, not in a direct way because he doesn't take actions to kill them or encourage his dinosaurs to kill them, but his actions indirectly with his ethos and his ideology as he creates what the theme park will be like, who he hires. Like, he hires one guy to do all of the IT stuff, and he overworks him down to the bone. In the book, he's like Nedry, I think.
Yep, that's his name. No, sorry.
Oh, is it?
Newman is the guy, the actor's character from Seinfeld. That's what Jerry.
Oh, that was
Seinfeld
a deep
always,
cut.
Yeah, that's what he always says about that. Newman. He's like, because he's always foiling Jerry's plans.
Man, does he foil?
Yeah, he foils.
I've never seen Seinfeld. Is that a crime?
No, but I think it's on Netflix. It's worth a little binge,
Little
you know?
gander.
Yeah, it's like, making some pasta. Let me put on a funny.
Little Seinfeld.
Little Seinfeld. Yeah,
like that.
about Gerald and Girls.
Seinfeld. Anyway, yeah. So Hammond in the book is the indirect, ultimately responsible villain. He's a bad guy, right? Movie, not even close to that. Maybe responsible, but you assume, if not, he shows immediate remorse for his actions, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting that Hammond in the book leads to the downfall of the island, and there's a lot less comedy in the book. I don't know if you picked up on that. Jurassic Park, Steven Spielbergized a little bit, where the movie is not a thriller, like genuine thriller horror. The book is like a genuine sci-fi thriller, and the movie is like an action adventure.
Yeah.
Right? There's some thrilling aspects, some little, like slightly scary things, but the book is like Ian Malcolm is not a funny character in the book.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me that like you go from Ian Malcolm, the guy who is absolutely hopeless, who is like, hey, we're here on this island. At one point, I think you might remember this, but the fences are off, the power's out, and it's been a couple hours, and Malcolm is like, it's over. We're all dead. There's nothing we can do. And Anderson gets the power back on, basically, and he's like, see, I told you, you need to like shut your mouth. And he's like, no, mathematically, this is the slight uphill before the even worse downfall. And it's like, oh,
bummer, dude.
Cool. Bummer, dude. Yeah. Like, you hold that against Ian Malcolm, who's like, sexy Jeff Goldblum is making jokes all the time.
Yeah.
It's like saying a lot of the same things, but I think that is interesting. So, yeah, do you see John Hammond as like a antagonist possibility in the movie, or is it like completely removed on purpose? Like, do we want him to be the loving grandfather?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just so hard to separate because I definitely watched Jurassic Park first before I read the book. And so I think that's the version I like, but I totally see how people loving the book would be the opposite. So
yeah,
I like what they did, but I think
in the movie,
I think I'd go movie first. But like I said, but it's so locked in. Would you say the same, or are you on the opposite?
Yeah, it's a terrific movie. Really, really, really good. So I don't think that anything should be changed. I would, however, be interested in someone taking the book and readapting it with more of that sci-fi horror thriller feel.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the characters. Yeah, I'd like to see John Hammond and Ian Malcolm, represented as they were in the book, and the kids. The kids' ages were a bit different, and their dynamic was a bit different. And Steven Spielberg said openly, like, he changed the ages of the kids because he had actors in mind to portray them. So he just like matched them with who the actors were, which is fine. I don't think the movie suffers for any of these things. Like, I don't genuinely think that John Hammond being a loving grandfather makes the movie suffer. It's just a difference.
Yeah.
And I liked the book a lot for different reasons than I liked the movie. And I would be interested in seeing some sort of adaptation that is more truthful to Crichton's book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Final thought is the death of Hammond. So obviously Jurassic Park movie, he doesn't die.
That's right.
And it's the death, spoiler for the book, the death of Hammond is kind of like poetic justice at the end of Jurassic Park, because he's wandering through his woods when all the fences are still down, and he's trying to gather his thoughts, and he's like talking to himself about how, well, we have this park in Thailand and this park in Australia that are opening up, and we can recoup these losses and everything's going to be okay. And he says this thing that made me Google something. He was like, we shouldn't have brought these kids here. These idiot kids don't belong here, and like, they're ruining everything. Movie Hammond, it's all about the kids, right? The thing I had to Google while I was reading that book was, isn't he their grandfather? And yeah, in the book, he's still their grandfather, but he's like, you guys ruin everything. So he's going on this walk. The kids are up in the control center, literally goofing around with the first touchscreen they've ever seen, and they make a T-Rex sound go off over the loudspeaker, and they think it's so funny. They keep doing it, and that freaks Hammond out, and he slips and falls, like breaks a leg, and compies eat him, those little dinosaurs.
Oh, God.
So he gets devoured by the very animal that he created to abuse and make money. After dissing on his own grandkids, they accidentally killed him. I just thought that was hilarious.
Wow. I honestly have no memory of that. So maybe I didn't finish it. I know I read it, but it's like, when you were saying that, it's like, oh, man, wow. All right, well, cool.
It's a moment, and I would be into a more truthful adaptation of Jurassic Park, considering the book. I don't think Jurassic Park, Steven Spielberg's movie, is a bad movie at all.
No.
I think it's great.
I like it. And I think you could go away from, it's not a remake. You would just want another adaptation. That'd be cool. You know, instead of like, what are we on, number 7 Jurassic Park movies? You know, it's like, why not give us another take? Like, I don't know. I feel the same way about like the new Harry Potter show. I was like, I think it's weird when you say like, I love the original Harry Potter movies, and now they're giving us a new show. But there's so many people that have never seen those movies that are that age. There's 10-year-olds that are going to walk in and see a Harry Potter character on screen for the first time, or maybe that character in general if they haven't read the books. And like, that can be a really cool experience, you know? Now I say walk into the theater, it's a TV show, so they'll watch it at home, but you know what I'm saying.
Walk into the living room.
They'll walk in the living room. It's like, hey, what's going on here?
What's your streaming?
Hey, what's that stream be like? Oh, shout out to our buddy Joey Halleck. He gave us an idea for Daddy Binge Time, our section of the show where we talk about what we're doing. He wants us to call it Woe Time. WOAH. What occupies Andrew and Heath?
Cool.
Woe Time.
I love that. Let's do it.
Speaking of Woe Time, we won't be doing that today. Andor Season 2 releasing soon.
April 22nd. Are you familiar with the release schedule that has been announced?
Yes.
You are. Okay, so we have 3 episodes every week for 4 weeks, and then it's over. I think originally when people heard 12 episodes, they thought, we get Star Wars for 12 consecutive weeks, and it's going to be tight. It's going to be awesome. My reaction to 3 episodes per week for 4 weeks instead is 2 thumbs up. If I could do 3 thumbs up, I would. I think it's a really good and different move.
Yeah.
It's going to be good for streaming. I think it's going to be good for Star Wars. What do you think?
I like it. It feels refreshing from the basic. I feel like what's been going on is they do one a week because that's normal TV. And then it was, well, we'll give you a couple episodes to get into the show and then go to one a week. Which I kind of felt was cheap because it kind of felt like, to me, it's like, if your first episode doesn't hook me, why,
Yes.
you know what I mean? I don't know. But I like
what's the point of
this.
a 2-episode premiere?
Right. Yeah. But then this one, that really does excite me because Andor seemed to go in arcs. And I love Andor. I love season 1. I think they were great. I got excited every episode. Rewatching it, I think it does go better back to back because of these main kind of story arcs. And so I'm excited to see these 3 because I know with the creator of the show, those are going to be very
Tony
intentional.
Gilroy.
Yeah, very intentional. It's not just, oh, here's 3 episodes. Here's another 3. It's like those 3, there'll be an arc. They'll be like each one is going to have a separate arc. And then I guarantee you at least arc 4 and 5 is going to like lead right into it, you know, and they've stated that last episode is going to lead us right into Rogue One. And like, what a cool way to just like jump right into that, you know?
So there's actually, you're correct. Each week will be an arc.
Mm-hmm.
But
they've already talked about this. I hadn't heard.
They've talked about this. Yeah. So a slight, I don't think it's a spoiler, but just information about each weekly release. 3 episodes, and each week will cover 1 year in Cassian's life.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, April 22nd, we get 1 complete story, and then next week we jump a year. We get the next complete story arc all released. I love this, that you get those pods of content. You get that pod of an arc. You watch that whenever you need to, whenever you can, as soon as you want, over and over again if you want, and like absorb the whole thing, and then you jump into the next arc. Feels like movies. Like it feels like I'm getting a Star Wars movie every week for 4 weeks, and I love it. Like I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be so fun. And yeah, basically, we're getting right now is we've got Daredevil going on. At the time of recording this, neither of us have seen this because we're actually recording this day of the Daredevil premiere, so we're both probably gonna watch it right after this. Daredevil we're getting 1 show a week, and then right after Daredevil, it's Andor season 2.
Yeah,
and then taking us right into summer. It's gonna be amazing. That's so cool.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? I believe that the release of The Last of Us overlaps with Andor. Is that correct?
Season 2. I have not looked into this.
Yeah. So The Last of Us season 2 airs April 13th.
Okay.
And looks like it'll be 2 episodes shorter than the last season. So a little bit shorter of a time frame for all of The Last of Us, which I'm excited for. But there was some speculation online that Andor... What's that?
Oh, I thought you were going to say season 2 of Last of Us, it will be like a part 2 or something.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'd like that.
Not me either.
Yeah. But there's some speculation that the Andor 3-episode release per week is in response to The Last of Us to compete platform to platform for streaming hours while The Last of Us is going on. Because that's how those platforms make their money, is essentially customers' time spent streaming. Right? So if Andor releasing 3 episodes in 1 week jacks up time spent streaming while HBO is airing its big show for the year, that's like a direct like punch, right? So
cool.
I'm not sure if that's accurate. I don't know, but it's an interesting speculation to say the least.
Well, people have to be thinking about that, and it's no joke that Star Wars has not been bringing in the numbers that they've wanted lately. Yeah. And I would say the only people, Andor is such a universally liked property. I think the only people who don't like that I haven't heard anything say about positive about Andor is the people who are like, I stopped watching after Disney took over. Like those Star Wars fans are the only people I haven't heard anything say about positive. But everyone I know that's seen Andor really enjoys it. Like, it's cool. We talk a lot about it's not just for Star Wars fans. It's just good TV, which is what every Star Wars show should be. Every Last of Us. It's not just for the video game fans. It's not just for the fans of that property. It should be fans for, like, it should be good enough to stand on its own.
Yeah, totally. All right. Those are my thoughts about Andor. I'm really excited.
That's beautiful. Speaking of good properties, Snow White is coming out on March 22nd. Your feature presentation, or as we like to call it, The Road to Snow White.
That's what we've been building.
Oh, man. So, yeah, it's coming out in about a week and a half. There's so much going on with this. Like, people hate on the trailer and the drama behind the scenes. I'm just curious. I'm not going to go see it, but I'm just really curious about what people are going to say about it, how much money it's going to not make. I'm just excited for what's going to happen, you know? Maybe it'll do well and it'll make money, but I doubt it. And I can't wait. So I've been really enjoying reading things about it, and I have some top trailer comments for you that I've just been enjoying. Okay. These were gathered by Chat Music. They do like they do like trailer kind of things, but it's comments put to music. So this is Chat Music. You look up the song Mirror Mirror, Chat Music. We'll put a link. But it's just a gathering of some YouTube and Reddit comments that I thought were delightful. Okay. So the reactions to the Snow White trailer, top comments. Here we go. If I saw this movie on a plane, I would still walk out. This trailer makes me want to sit on the TV and look at my couch. I paid nothing to watch this trailer, but I already want my money back. Coming to a theater near you. Me? Is that a threat? They should have made Rachel CGI.
Just take her out of there.
Mud Brown and the 7 Discord mods.
Oh.
The CGI looks so much better when I turn my monitor off. Disney invites you, and I must politely decline.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the poison apple.
Oh, no.
Why is Lord Farquaad playing Snow White?
You can't get around that haircut. You can't avoid that.
This movie should come with a disclaimer. No dwarves were harmed, but your childhood might be.
Oh, man.
I haven't seen something this self-implode since that Titan submarine. As a German, I claim a cultural appropriation. Snow White and the 7 CGI abominations. Making the dwarfs look like a PS1 Hagrid was a bold choice.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool on that.
Rachel Zegler looks like a medieval squire boy. The Marvels lost $237 million. Snow White, hold my beer. Disney used to make people famous. Now it ends acting careers.
Oh, bummer.
There we go. Like I said, it's so funny because I think there's so much about it that's like, this isn't even about the movie. Like, we haven't seen it, but people like actively hate it. And it's one of those things, kind of like The Acolyte, where before it's come out, it's already so hated. I can't imagine it's going to do well, which is kind of a bummer because as a person who just wants good movies made, I do want to say give the movie a chance. But at the same time, I'm being really entertained by all this nonsense.
I know. It's hard. It's hard to fight against. It's not one that I would go see anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So if people said, this is the movie of the year, this is like the best live action Disney movie from their cartoon that they've ever done, that wouldn't get me to go see it. And it's not because I don't think that those actors are good, those writers are good, the director's good, whatever. It's not because of that. It's just not my interest at this point, you know?
Yeah.
So just the fact that it is entertaining me without going to see the movie is really funny. So
Yeah, that's great.
yeah.
Well, on that note, Andrew, should we end it?
We should.
All right. We'll save. We got some other stuff we'll save for the next episode. Real quick. So next week we have a movie talk. We're doing Return of the Jedi with the Rogue Worship Leader. He's a cool guy who, one of the things he does online is he records, like, he puts Star Wars theme music into worship songs, like church music, and it's just really entertaining and fun. But he was a great conversation to have, so we're excited to have him on the show. So go check that out, our movie talk on Return of the Jedi. Andrew, take us home.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. You can find our podcast anywhere you get podcasts. Our full video show is on YouTube and Spotify, and you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We also post some shorts on YouTube. So comment sections, put some ideas in there, give us some feedback on some questions we may ask or topics that we're talking about, and we can integrate them into the show. Most likely. We love interacting with you guys. So, Heath, go see a movie.
Go see a movie.